Hi, today's question has 3 answers, and you are going to want to stick around because the third answer is a secret to making as much money on the books you want to put onto Barnes & Nobles. So let's get into it. The question that was asked to me today was, is self-publishing at Barnes & Noble worth it? Now, this is an excellent question. It actually sort of deals with any issue, which is a question that normally comes up. Should I publish on Lulu or Amazon or Ingram Spark or many of the other sites and the other distributors of books that offer the ability to get your books onto the market in order to find the right audience? And it also shows that the person who asked the question understands that it is important to not make mistakes. You only have so much money and so much time and so much resources, so you want to make sure whether or not it's worth it to actually get it published on Barnes & Nobles. So before we start, this is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing does not need to be so hard. Go ahead and click the subscribe bell if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check below in the description. I have a self-publishing secrets checklist to get you started on your journey. So let's get into it. When I first started, I had no idea exactly all of the different sites where you could do it. In fact, I thought Barnes & Nobles, I thought you had to have an official book that was published through a major, some sort of a distributor or traditional publishing if you wished to have a book published on that platform. But that was a complete mistake. You did not necessarily have to do that. But I started on my journey with Amazon, and then I moved from there to with CreateSpace for my paperbacks or KDP print now, and then I moved to ACX for my audiobooks, and later I moved hardback cover books on Lulu and additional distribution through Ingram Spark, and so on and so forth. And there was one little small stop that actually did put some of my books through Barnes & Nobles, and I will get into that with today's answers. So let's take a look. So the first is, yes, it is worth getting your books in as many different distribution channels as possible. So if all of these different ones, whether we're talking about Barnes & Nobles or Amazon and all of the different distributors, all the companies that they also will distribute it through, because it's not just about one. Kind of like when you put your audiobook on ACX, it distributes it through Apple and through Audible and through a number of other places. And so you want to maximize the number of people. Why would you want to only sell it in one store? If you had an amazing book, would you only want it available in just a single store? Or wouldn't it be more strategic to take that book and stick it as far and wide as possible? And the second question is, yes, Barnes & Noble is a well-respected book distributor, and it brings in tons of readers. So why would you not want to do it? But that is where the third and today's secret answer comes in. And that is that if we want to get our ebooks into Barnes & Nobles, the easiest way to go about doing that is with Smashwords. And that was one of the things that I also tested out, going, as they call it, going wide with your distribution and your ebooks. And the alternative is you would go with Amazon Kindle, and then you would use Kindle Select so you can run ads against your Amazon books to drive traffic to your books and to make more sales on that route, which in my opinion is the correct route because you're going to make more money this way. But let's say we don't want to do it on Amazon, or you tried Amazon or they banned you or whatever the reason might be. Then we want to go wide. Then that is where Smashwords comes into play. And with Smashwords, it will distribute your ebooks automatically to Barnes & Nobles as well as many other platforms if you opt not to use the KDP Select route. You can also publish on Amazon opting out of KDP Select, or maybe just using it for the first 90 days and then opting out. And then you can take your book and push it through Smashwords, and it will go through Barnes & Nobles as well as Apple and all of the other distribution channels that you could possibly imagine. So you would reach a large audience. But at the moment, Amazon still dominates the market, and using KDP Select gives you advantages of using some of their different marketing and promotions, which with Amazon ads, it's really hard to beat that. And that's the reason why I would highly recommend that you opt not to go wide, but rather start with Amazon. And if you find that your sales are not doing very well, then consider going through Smashwords and pushing your books through Barnes & Nobles. So the answer to the question is yes, going through Barnes & Nobles is in fact self-publishing at Barnes & Noble's is definitely worth your time. And the final thing I ask you is, what have you found? Have you found other ways that maybe are even better when going with Barnes & Noble's, when self-publishing at Barnes & Noble's? Or maybe you found something else. Go ahead and let me know below in the comments, and check out above right here for other videos that answer your self-publishing questions. Thanks.